Ladies and gentlemen, I am Aaron Coonan, student number 000247210, and today I will be covering the measure object commandlet. It can be found in the Microsoft Powershell utility module, and what it essentially does is it counts. So it has multiple parameters that can allow you to do different things with this counting. However, we'll go over that in a second. I just want to cover that it does work with pipelines, so if you do want to pull all your information from another commandlet that you have set up for you, it will be able to do that, and it will be able to give you the information directly from that pipeline. So we will go into the parameters here. The first one we're going to cover is the character parameter, which allows you to count every single character that you put in. So as right here, if you were to run this, it wouldn't work, but if you were to use measure object against a document that had this information, it would give you 7, even though there's a space there. You can fix that by putting in another parameter, which is ignore white space, and then that would just give you 6 instead. But that all depends on what you're trying to look for. We also have the word commandlet, or parameter, sorry, that allows you to check against words. So if we have that, it would give us a count of 2, 3, 4, and it just allows you to count how many words are in a document or whatever you may be pulling from. We also have the line parameter, which allows you to count how many lines, as long as there is something in front of it. If there isn't anything in front of it, then it will not count it as a line. And I'll show you a good example of that in a moment. Along with all of these different specifying on what you want to count, there is input object, which allows you that to, if you don't feel like using a pipeline, specify what you want to actually pull in instead, if you have a static document that you want to pull from, for example. As well as property, which allows you to specify from a different list of properties what you actually want to count. This can be used with CVS documents, which allow you, CSV documents that allow you to go through and just specify if it has date, time, candy. If you want to just get the candy bit, then you can specify property candy, and it will count from that column only. And if you want to get the sum of how many candies you have in there, you can actually use measure object -sum. Also, there is a average that you can use. It will give you the average amount of whatever you're trying to measure, as well as a maximum and a minimum. So those are all the parameters that you can use with this specific commandlet. So let's get into some examples here. We're going to get child. We are currently in a folder that I've created for this. As you can see right here, 3 documents, 2 documents in a folder. And so we're going to get child item, and we're going to measure object, and we're going to just run it like that for the moment. And we can see that it gives us a count of 3, which, as we can see, is correct. However, we don't want to just stop there. We want to add some parameters here: minimum, maximum, and average. Whoops, what did I miss here? Oh, property length, correct. You do need to specify what property you're actually trying to pull from it, or else it won't actually know what the heck it's reading, and won't be. It will think, okay, well, I counted these 3 things. What else are you expecting out of me? So, as we can see here, it gives us a count of 2 instead of 3, because the folder doesn't really actually count for anything on the computer. And we can see here that it gives us 12 kilobytes here, whereas it gives us a little bit of a more specific number here for the amount of bytes, as well as it gives us 84 for the other one, even though it's basically rounding down or rounding up from that number. And it gives us an average of about 5 11,937, which is perfectly fine. That makes a bit of sense, because as we can see here, one little line versus quite a bit. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to play around with this file a little bit. And for our second example, we're going to get content. Type that. We're going to get characters, line, and word. And as you can see, it gives us 5 lines, because even though there seems to be a lot, even though there are some empty spaces here, it does not count something that has nothing in front of it. So, and this is all actually one line. If we were to format it into word wrap and stretch out long enough, we would see that it goes on for quite a bit. But we don't really care about that. What I do want to note is, oh, nice little serendipity there, I didn't mean for that, is that it currently says 11,774 characters. However, that's including all the white space, so we'll get rid of that right now. And suddenly it goes down about 2,000 characters, which is nice to be able to see what the actual meat of the document contains. And, alright, so we're going to go on to our final example here. We're going to get process. We're going to get all the processes that are currently running on my computer. I'm going to specify property and CPU. I'm going to go maximum and average. And as you can see here, it gives us the count of how many processes are currently actually running. The average is pretty low, and a maximum is pretty dang high. But that's to be expected. I run quite a few things on this computer. Alright, and especially this recording program that's actually running at this current moment. So, I believe that that is everything that you need to know about the measure object command. And absolutely, if you have any questions, you can post them in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and see you possibly in the next video. Bye-bye.